Hey my friends, today I'm going to be showing you another budget efficient team. Today we'll be looking into the Mech team. So basically mechs have an advantage over other classes as they are the only class that can build themselves into a different unit. So basically what's happening is once you have at least 4 mechs, 3 mechs will combine, the ones with the lowest HP, and they'll turn into a so-called mech. So this mech is basically a very strong single unit, which is pretty good. The damage it deals is decent. The abilities aren't of real importance, but it's basically a super unit that can burst different units while tanking a lot of damage. I'll just show you how it works in this fight. So basically 3 units with the lowest HP turn into that mech, which can tank a lot of damage. And then now it's going to be destroyed. The 3 of them will get out with much lower HP, and they can still continue the fight. So basically you get like an extra unit that's much stronger and that can tank lots of the enemy damage beforehand, and the other 2 units that you still have can basically do anything else. So basically today I'm all in it in showing you a budget team. Basically recently I've shown you teams that I like a lot, that are very strong and that didn't matter, and this team is also pretty strong, but it's a lot more budget friendly. It's not the top of the top kind of build that you want in the arena if you want to get in the first 3000 rankings, but it's a team where you can get very far in the dungeon, very far in the chapters, and if you do well you'll be able to build a sustainable account where you can constantly drain HE without really investing anything into it. So I started this yesterday just to get the hang and tell you what I like and what I dislike about it. But before we dive further into the mechanics, I would want to show you the prices of these heroes. And of course, as always, I would like to show you some math. This is all from the last video, so let's just delete this real quick. Okay, so let me just see. Let's go with the first one we're going to get, which is Zach. He's currently at the price of 185. Zach is going to be put in the backline. I like him here. Then the next one I'm going to be looking at is Clock Crank. He's basically a nice fill spot since he's having the mech attribute but also having the demon type, where he's basically enhancing his own damage a little bit. So he's decent as well. 177. Next is going to be the Bomber. Then we get Tommy. And last but not least, I want Timble to be in this team. Let me just check the prices. Bomber is currently at 150. Tommy is at 89. That's pretty cheap. Timble is at 169. It's also quite cheap. So basically, for all this, it's only going to be 681 token. Let me see how much the dollar price is right now. Let's just check. Let's go. It's at 20 cents. Let me just copy that so we can do proper math. Let's see. Okay. So basically at current prices that's about $140. So very easy to get. Not too much of a big investment. They are about to release a patch, so this data isn't quite accurate anymore. Basically, you'll be having less of these since you won't be able to buy them anymore, so let's delete that. And this is pretty much going to stay. I think you get 4 for free, or just 2 for free, and 3 in here, basically. So let's just swap this. Most likely we'll get a bit less than before. And the dailies, if you adjust to chapter 5, will be adjusted to 20, so that's going to be lower as well, right? So you pretty much will be getting 30 token daily if you do decently well. Basically, you can theoretically take into consideration that you'll get the weeklies and the achievements, etc. So let's just think that you will only be getting the daily tokens, like the free ones that you get from the arena and those that you will get from the first quests. So let's just say you get only the 30 per day, which is very low actually, at least for this team that you're going to be investing in. Then you'll have a return of invest of about 22 days. Of course, you'll have to take into consideration that you will need about 2 to 3 days to set this up, since you have to get to chapter 5 first. And you do need a couple tokens to boost your heroes. I'll show you in a different video later how much token you will need exactly and how much you need to put into the game. Or if you just can get the team for 681 and then get the remaining tokens from the achievements in game, so you don't have to put any more into it. I'll show you that in a different video. But basically you can get this setup quite cheaply for 681. The combination is pretty decent. You have the synergy of having one demon, pretty classy. Just strengthening himself. I think it's a 20% bonus. Let me just see real quick. Yeah, 20% attack damage bonus. So then we have the goblin bonus. That's pretty decent as well. Basically 3 goblins will just enhance or give the whole team a buff where you get 50% chance to resist crowd control effects. Pretty nice, pretty decent, performs well overall against any kind of team. But if they fail to resist, they get an additional 125% defense rating. That's good, especially I found it helpful against beast teams. It's been helping me a bit. Great, especially in combination with Timble, since he's going to heal up a lot. And I mean, of course, Zack and the others too, but very sustainable and nice in terms of damage and defense. So it's a very balanced team. It's not the super high damage ultra combination that'll get you to chapter 9 million, but you will get very far into the game, especially if you reinvest part of your daily HE gain and stuff. So it's not really going to be hard. See, I really just set this account up. There's going to be a video series where you just use the HE I'm getting in game and not put any inside other than buying the team beforehand. So get ready for those parts, that'll follow soon. This is just going to be the video about the synergy. If you are asking yourself why I chose this formation, basically the plan is for clock rank to just remain here and grab one of the enemies soon into the game. Also, he's shielding our Tommy, which is pretty good. He's very cool. I love this champ, even though he's pretty much undervalued these days and many people hate him. And these can basically just turn into the mech, these three, and be strong themselves, or these three, whatever. I just like it if Tommy can just shoot at the enemy as our mech is tanking, and our clock crank can take out the carries. So that's a pretty decent combination, and you can do a lot even at the low strength that you're playing at in the beginning. So if you have like enemies that are way over your own league, you'll still perform decently well, especially in PvE. Naturally in PvP it's going to be a bit more tricky, but in the new patch the humans will be buffed, and this team can perform very well against humans. Won't have much trouble with them, and of course elves are going to be having a much harder time in the future, since they've been on a rampaging streak and they are already quite expensive, and you do need a decent budget to get into it. So as a starter team this is pretty good. If I had to rate it in PvP I would give it a B ranking. It's alright, not too great, not too terrible. Also you can, theoretically speaking, swap out Zac for Vi, or you can swap out Clock Crank for Vi, theoretically, or even Bomber, since basically Vi is just adding a bit more utility. But best case you want to keep these three in the combination to get the Goblin buff. So you get the 3 Goblin buff. Clock Crank can be swapped, Zac can be swapped, theoretically speaking. You could swap Zac for Dinger, and then you'll have, let me just see the price. It's not a Dinger. 70, 98. Basically then you could get away even cheaper, would be just 594. That's a very cheap price to get such a good team, actually. So in PvE it's like an A, I say A+, if you choose the dungeon, since in the dungeon you will basically be at an advantage, since your mech will regenerate the health, and as long as it survives, you pretty much get into the next round with full health again. Early game, it depends if you decide to invest into it or not. If you don't, like me, then it's like a B-. It's okay, but not too great. Late game is B+. So overall it's a solid team. Not too great, not too terrible. A meta team, very good for the price, since there are a lot of cheap units. You could make use of the Tommy. He's doing well in this combination. He's getting some tankiness out of the buff, but at the same time he's doing quite a lot of damage. Let me just take a look at him. Basically you can, from the skills, you get like an increased damage and increased range, that's okay. And basically you have the poison effect, which means you will be dealing 20% magic damage per second over 3 seconds. Of course that will be increased later on to 25%, etc. And once you get past 100 you will be dealing magic damage instead of physical damage, and that will be increased to 20% magic damage. The other ability that he possesses is the Dead Shot. It deals 300% physical damage. 300%, that's a lot, definitely, but you have to take into consideration that it's physical damage, meaning if the enemy has a lot of defense, you won't deal as much damage, but it's great to take out carries. And I feel with the current AI, it's doing pretty well. Especially once you get past the level 80 mark. The damage increase is fine, but it's pretty great that it restores 20 mana points if an enemy is killed. So you can, of course, do a lot once you hit like the dungeon sweet spot, where the mech is just tanking and Tommy can snipe the enemies and keep on sniping whenever he's killing an enemy due to his mana regeneration. So he's a very nice addition for the team. Don't get fooled by the prices of these heroes. Just because they're expensive or because they're cheap doesn't mean they're good or they're bad. Sometimes it's just about the demand that's in the market, and some people just dislike certain heroes. For example, even with the elves, there are some heroes that I feel are massively undervalued, while others are very expensive and don't bring that much worth to your team. But of course, there are just some heroes that you have to depend on, and in this case, those are usually a bit more expensive. But in this composition, Tommy is a very good carry, and for the current prices, that's pretty great actually. And even Dinger, he's alright. I don't like him too much. I think he's bad, but even the 98 is fine. And of course, if you have a bit more budget, you should just choose Zack, so you can get like, what was it, 190 I think. You can get like a bit more. It's a bit more budget, of course, but I think it'll be worth it. And you don't quite need that many goblins. The 3 goblin combo is fine, and Zack is doing well on his own. So I think that's the best decision. Okay, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed. Return of invest is actually pretty low. You can get there in like 2 to 3 weeks. If you get the shards, which you will be getting quite fast. Basically, you get the first 60 shards very fast, just by doing one or two dungeons and getting or buying the shards from the store. You can pretty much make the return of invest of about, let's say, 1.5 weeks maybe. It should be going pretty quick. It depends on what you are pulling on the rare shards, but if you get a decent rare which sells for 200 to 300, then you already made half your investment back. And say you have already been playing for a week, then you already got like another 150 from the dailies. So you almost made your return of invest in like a week or so. So that's pretty amazing actually with this kind of team. I would always suggest you though to always reinvest into your characters. What I like to do is reinvest into the cheaper ones first, like Tommy, or if you have the Dinger, then you can make them Rare Plus or Epic quite fast, and they'll have a huge impact on your team, since of course getting like a Timble or a Zack to Epic or Rare Plus is going to be a lot harder, since it's going to be a lot more expensive. So focus on the cheap ones first, make them rank them up, and then once you have done that, you can go to the higher ones, except if you have like a different carry. Like if you focus on a different carry, you may get to start with someone else first, but you always have to take into consideration the price that you're paying for that. You know, like maybe leveling up Zack first is good, and ranking him up would be 20% better than Tommy, but you have to pay double the price, so that doesn't really make it worth it, you know. So you always have to think, how expensive is someone, what value does he really bring to the team. These prices fluctuate a lot, so it may be possible that maybe in 2 to 3 weeks Zack is costing 90 and Tommy is 900 or something, or 200 or 150, whatever. Then you have to rethink this again, of course, right? So don't focus too much on what or who to rank up first. Make your own decision by watching the market prices and see if it's actually worth your attention or not. So this is a budget-friendly team, very cheap. You don't really have to put much money into this, and you can pretty much reinvest what you get from the game and make a pretty fast return of invest. Anyway, that's it for the game. Went a bit longer than I expected it to be. I hope you enjoyed. If you don't, tell me. If you do, tell me as well. Leave a comment and tell me if you have any wishes on the next builds. This one was requested a lot from DMs that I got on Discord. I hope I did do you justice. If not, then just tell me and we'll just discuss in the comments as we always do. Anyway, that's it. Hope you enjoyed. Goodbye.